Hi, Aries, and welcome to your April 2023 read. All right, let's get started. This read is for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and or Venus. Okay, Aries, let's see what's going on. Oh my gosh, 3 of Swords, 5 of Cups, Page of Cups. What's going on here? A broken heart? Someone says something that really like hits home. Someone, it could be you, a father figure and or a child that is having grief, depression. I don't know. Aries is a father figure, maybe the father of your child, depressed, sad, you know, was an offer of love made and not accepted, right? Let's get some more info with the vice versa deck. Sorry. I should do it like this. Sorry. The vice versa deck, okay? Let me put these down real quick. Aries, what's going on here? This is like sadness. This is, this could be heart palpitations, but I don't feel that 100%. I don't feel that that's it. If it is, it's like a 30%, you know, your heart's just racing because, you know, you just declined an offer of love. Let's see what that three of Swords is. Okay. This is someone from your past. Someone that has hurt you from your past, right? So this is a masculine. Okay, so this is kind of like an interesting... Look at this. So we have... Okay, so this could be a progression of time that it's been... And I'm going to say it. There's been maybe up to 3 decades of pain and 3 decades of someone's their life cycle. Yeah, we have, right? We have a page. We have then someone who's grown up, grown older, and then someone who's really, right, has really... Pain ages us. Stress ages us. Depression, sadness, worry ages us if we don't heal this. So Aries, for some of you, literally, you've gone through, you know, you've gone through some massive time that's gone by not healing this heart. Not healing the pains of your past, the people you've lost. Maybe you haven't been able to talk about it. If it's recent, then it's recent. Maybe some of you are walking away from a love relationship, marriage, bond, whatever bond this is. It's a breakup. It's a, I don't want to be in this anymore. But the majority is, we must know, the message is that we need to know to heal the heart in order to move on and move forward and drop all of this pain, right? Like when it's a page, you know, it's little pains. It's like, you know, it's not, it doesn't, you know, when you're like 14 or, you know, anywhere between like 8 and 14 or 15, 16, whatever. You're like, okay, that hurt, but, and then you get to, you know, your teenage and, you know, 20s, 30s, even 40s, and you're like, wow, that stung a lot harder than the first time. That's the second time, right? And then the third time is like, holy crap, you're now in your 40s, 50s, and older, and you're like, gosh, I didn't realize that this pain was going to follow me through my entire life. And that because it still hurts, right? It still hurts. It's right here. It still hurts. It's either you or someone near and dear to you. Okay. Let's get 3 more cards to clarify this. 1 for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and or Venus, please, Spirit, and thank you. Okay, we have them. We have, see, the Devil reversed, the 4 of Cups, who's left our lives, and we didn't communicate the pain. We haven't communicated the pain. Things were toxic, and we never talked about it. And now I need to talk about it. I need to really actually, more than talk about it, I need to see clearly now through what has caused me pain over the years. Okay, hold on. Here's the progression. It's not the progression of numbers this time, as it is the progression of emotional pains that have happened. Like, have we accepted? Have we seen clearly? Have we understood what the dynamic here is? The dynamic is that you've gone almost your entire existence on the earth plane, taking all of your pain and letting it absorb you to where now you're in this gray shade of life's existence is gray. Like, look at this. This is colorful. This is beautiful. This is childhood. Your childhood was amazing. Your childhood was, wow, give and take, love. I'm ready to embark upon my life. I'm excited about what's in front of me. I want someone who's going to see. I'm seeking someone who sees the way I do. Right? And you're only like, you know, you're young. So you're like, this is playful. This is energetic. This is, you know, all of the chakras all in one. Right? From your base to your crown. And it is a distant, you know, it is in the distant future, right up here. So this is where we have free will. And then we get to, you know, our 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s, right? And we're like, oh, shit, it hasn't been so easy. I've had a few letdowns. I mean, I'm going to say that love is the common denominator, so whatever letdowns has caused you this pain, the sorrow, this down on your knees praying for spirit to change your life. 5. 5 is the changes that we need to make within ourselves. So in your 20s, 30s, 40s, let's say Spirit said, okay, Aries, some stuff has to change here. Emotionally, we need to heal. We need to figure it out. Maybe you're praying for more strength, more peace, more acceptance, understanding of self and others. I want to grow. You see the tree. I want to grow. You've grown, but did you grow emotionally? And then you see that in the span of time, over time, this pain still is there. It's like the thorns in our side. It's like the mindset of, okay, well, a lot of shit hasn't worked out in my life. So now in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you're like, yeah, I know Spirit's saying I need to grow and change and mature. This is the time, but I'm am growing in my, physical body, but mentally, I'm still hanging on to the threads of my past, the pains, the thorns. They're still there. The wounds haven't healed, right? So we're like, okay, well, so, what are you going to do? If you haven't worked on yourself, then you go into, a middle life crisis. Seriously. This midlife crisis is, wow, I'm carrying the burden of the weight of the world here. Because when Spirit said, when you were on your knees or whatever, maybe you weren't literally on your knees, but figuratively you may have started noticing that things have to change within your own self and that you're maturing, but emotionally you're growing, but not in an emotional acceptance and allowing to heal your heart. So you're still carrying the weight of all of these decades, and then realizing that all along you were fearful of opening up, letting go of all of, you needed to let go and realize that life happens this way sometimes when we can't. Maybe you just didn't have the strength or you weren't aware. But in the back of your mindset, you knew something had to change, but you didn't change it in your mindset. Therefore, it became a burden. And a huge burden because you've been carrying it, from here to here. I'm going to say 40s, 50s, maybe end up. Right? So now you're in this midlife crisis where you're like, okay, I realized that some stuff had to be let go. The obsession, the attachments, the toxic behaviors of all the places, people, and things that really bugged me. I have to take an internal inventory and have to be honest with myself, right? You're not there. You're working on self. Some of you have just turned your back on opening your heart and everything is like gray. But look what happens after this. You get really clear. So you're working on no more obsessing, no more control, letting all that go, you know, standing up for yourself, making sure that, you know, making sure that you realize the ego, which is this too. I'm not going to lie. The painful truth of one's ego not settling the score, not clearing the decks, really put a damper on one's entire essence of what childhood love looked like, what innocence feels like. So we went from, over the course of one's life, we're here. And now we're, again, it's kind of like, seriously it is. It's a death and rebirth of, right? We go through life in the innocent, being the innocent child, innocence of a child, being the child, sorry. That was bugging me. And throughout our lives, it went from, like I showed you before, it went from, you know, we're in Oz. Hold on. Here we are in Oz. Here we are in Oz. We're still in Oz, but then we get hit with, you know, the tornado. And then the tornado hits and we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't heal from that. Mentally, this is mental healing. This is egoic. And then everything after that became, right, very uncomfortable. I'm, you know, comfortably numb. Pink Floyd, right? Comfortably numb. Because what we had to resolve was the detachment of the attachments. And during that process of detaching, we find there is light, there is truth, there is clear seeing, clear knowing. How we finally come to the, right, to the place of salvation. We get a new lease on life. We start over. The crown is given to those who have done their work. And it's not a crown. It's a royal crown from spirit. It's the vistas, seeing new vistas, seeing things so clearly that you see, you start seeing yourself again. We know the truth sets us free, do we not? For sure. And that's where everything changes. Okay, 3 more cards. Everything changes. Oh my God. I'm going to take 1 card at a time because I'm really like psyched. We take note of the sword of truth, and we realize and acknowledge the moon, our feelings. We embrace our femininity, but we're not showing it to the world because we don't, that's not what That's not what death and rebirth is. The dark night of the soul, the phoenix rising. That's not to, it's not something you talk about. It's something that you feel within. So now you're taking this, part of your life, and you're changing how you see things in order to see clearly again, in order to go back to Oz. This is when all, hell breaks loose, right? That's why this is hell breaks loose. And then we see clearly, and then, what's her name? Glinda, the good witch, says you had the power all along. Yeah. You had the power all along. I'm getting goosebumps. Seriously, masculine and feminine. The truth sets us free. The crown. The rewards from spirit. It's not a tangible reward, as well it is, but that comes later. For now, the reward is love. We come back to the innocence. So it's a whole full circle of life that you have been through, carrying the weight of pain, depression, sadness, grief. We all have it. No one is exempt on the earth plane from going from Oz into the tornado of one's own egoic, obsessive hell. We let the ego go because we know what sets us free is to work on self and to accept the feelings within and without. And our work is done. And we feel so proud. We don't need to be acknowledged. I mean, people, who cares? The highest form of love is self. Wow. What a spectacular read. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm going to take one karma card for Aries. It's beautiful. Cancer. Your feelings, your moon is the feminine side of you. Your femininity has evolved as your masculinity has evolved. But it was more of feeling and speaking of those feelings and embracing those feelings without needing to control those feelings. It's the attitudes of your past. What the past was about. What resulted in the history. My eyelashes, right? The history. Over time, what protected you, I'll tell you what protected you, was that you realized that the most important thing in knowing was feeling your way through. It's all about your feminine helped you Actually, your feminine saved you. The feminine saved you. The moon. Some of you are dealing with your eyelashes. It is feminine, right? It's all about the way we look. But it's not egoic. The butterfly. What transformed your clear vision, knowledge, gaining your own truths, your own truth was how you are feeling, were feeling, what the history of that feeling was, and embracing it in order to be set free. She's not looking back. Your feminine's looking forward, and so is your masculine. See, the masculine was always looking forward. The feminine, it was the emotions. It was the moon. It was the feelings. It is the home. It's the heart. Your heart healed. Love of self. You literally went through that whole thing. I mean, if you have, and I'm going to plug it in, I am. If you've read The Ego Has Landed, my book, this is exactly what you have worked on. And now we're back in Oz. We're going back to a place where we love. Starts with our heart and then expounds outward into the world. Let us understand and embrace our feelings, for the truth does set us free. It's all about your home. And the home starts with the heart. And what did Dorothy say? There's no place like home. And now you remember it. Have a great month.